Am I the a-hole for wanting to cancel the vacation since my girlfriend invited someone else along? Me, 27M, and my girlfriend, 26F, have been planning this trip in our minds for a while. It was supposed to be a getaway, just me and her, to chill and spend some quality time with each other. Both of us have really been overloaded at work, and this was our chance to take a step back from all that and actually spend time with each other outside of the times when we're exhausted. I've tried to make this as perfect a vacation for her as possible, even picking up extra shifts to cover the costs. All was great until a few days ago when she casually mentioned she was bringing some friend from work, 25F, along. Well, sort of a shock to me since we never talked about bringing anyone along since I was thinking it would just be us. Her friend is really nice, but we don't have that much in common, and I can tell it definitely would change the tone of the vacation. She told me that she knew her friend was having a tough time with the family, too, and she just needed a break. I can understand that. Of course, I'd like to accommodate her as much as possible, but to me, it's really weird that she didn't tell me before just inviting her friend, as it'd mean we'd have to change some of our plans. I let her know that, then she got a little in my face about it. So finally, I just said I think we should cancel our trip because, honestly, it's just not what we had planned. It'd feel weird for me to spend what was supposed to be sort of a romantic getaway with a third wheel. She thinks I'm being selfish and that it's no big deal for her friend to join us. She also pulled that guilt trip of how I've gone out with my friends without checking up on her. But that's entirely different because, well, I wasn't honest supposedly with her trip, right? I told her that by canceling the trip, we could stay behind and help her friend out with her family. I am trying to accommodate her in her wants and needs, but all she says is that I am trying to get out of a conversation which I never knew we needed. I don't want to be an a-hole, but again, none of mine are being taken into account either. So, am I the a-hole for wanting to cancel this vacation because she invited this person without asking me first? Next story. My mom threatened to call CPS on me and my wife when the baby wasn't born yet. I, 20M, and my wife, 25F, are preparing to have a baby. At my previous house, I had a roommate who was a hoarder and the house was constantly trashed because of her habits. However, I have since moved with my wife to our own place. This is important to the story. A few weeks ago, my wife and I were on a camping trip with my mom, grandma, grandpa, stepdad, stepsisters, and my brother. During our camping trip, we were gathered around the fire and my mom said to me and my wife she would call CPS on us if our house was a mess like at our old house with my roommate. I found this odd because I feel I am no messier than your average person. I clean my plates after I eat and I pick things up after I'm done using them so that my room/house doesn't get messy, and I mop, sweep, and vacuum once a week on either Sunday or Saturday. Me and my wife left the trip mad because my mom said she would call CPS on us when we hadn't even had a chance to see or hold our baby yet. She implied I don't have a clean house. In addition to that, my wife has first-hand experience with CPS as she grew up in and out of foster care. Me and my wife decided to give her the silent treatment and cut contact with her, as this is not the first time she pulled something like this. The last thing we said to her is we don't want to speak with her until she apologizes to me and my wife for her remarks, and she refuses to apologize to us. Earlier today, she reached out to my wife and texted her that she wants to apologize at a bonfire at her house. I'm skeptical, but I don't know how to proceed. Reddit, am I the a-hole? Next story. Am I the a-hole for losing empathy for my postpartum wife after she insulted me? My wife is 2 months postpartum. We've been together for 6 years nearly. I didn't get a paternity leave and I am a shift worker, which means I have to make as many shifts as I can in order to support my family. As my wife isn't working, she was laid off when she was 4 months pregnant. Awful employer. She never was able to find another job because employers didn't want to hire someone who'd take a maternity leave later on. My work is very physically demanding and I often need to recover, and I know this is nothing compared to what my wife is going through, but that doesn't mean my regular problems end or don't need to be dealt with just because she gave birth. Her mom has been staying with us to support her recovery and help with night feeds for our baby. Because of my job, it's not possible for me to be sleep deprived. We tried that initially, but I was written up at work the next day. This has caused some unjustifiable resentment from my wife despite the fact she knows my situation. We often fight over this as I can't attend to my parental duties because I desperately need to put money on the table, which my wife can't right now. I am under so much stress and don't know who else to talk to as my wife's problems are somehow always bigger. It's like I'm not allowed to be human or express how I'm feeling at all, and I've begun to resent her too. One evening when I came home from work, I had an injury on my arm and was worried about getting tetanus. I called a friend asking for advice and my wife overheard me and said something snarky, telling me I'm useless because she has to rely on her mom right now when I should have been there. I really feel like I've run out of empathy for this person and don't feel like I can feel safe or validated around her. So I sincerely asked, do you like saying that? Does that make you feel good to call your partner useless? What a shame. I would never say something like that to you, even though you aren't helping our family financially at all, even though you're supposed to. I didn't raise my voice or have an irritated tone. This was mostly out of curiosity and how hurt I was. She started crying and saying sorry, probably because I could sense I triggered guilt in her, but I didn't comfort her or reassure her of my love because I didn't want to. If she felt bad, she probably needed to. So I let her cry. I simply said that I would disengage from her the next time she said something hurtful to me and wouldn't allow myself to be spoken to that way again. I was polite but very firm on what my position was on this. We haven't really spoken much and I've been sleeping away from her because I can't stand to be near her. She asked me to come to bed, but I just think I needed space. Now she texts me that she really hated the fact that I put her on the spot with my line of questioning and how I should not do that. I said that if my questions made her uncomfortable, it was a sign she needed to do some self-reflection and become a better partner to me. Was I too harsh? Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving my partner and refusing to be involved in any way, shape, or form after they stopped taking the pill and pierced our condoms to have a child? Updated. My partner has been on the pill throughout our relationship, and we've been in a bit of a battle these past few weeks over having children. I categorically said that I didn't want them and started using condoms for double protection. This morning, she told me that she was pregnant, and I asked how this could happen when we've been so careful. She admitted to coming off the pill and piercing through the condoms that we had stored. I've said that I don't want this and that I'm not up for marrying into a relationship based on lies. She says she's keeping it and has already told her friends as, according to her, she'd done the test 8 weeks ago and was keeping it quiet in the hopes that I'd change my mind. I have no idea what to do here. Help. I am in England and am 29. Date. Firstly, thanks so much for all your comments. I didn't expect this to blow up quite so much as it did. Secondly, I want to get a few things straight as people seem to be struggling with timelines. My partner and I were due to get married in a few short weeks. We have had many long and involved conversations during our relationship about us both wanting to remain a child-free family over the years that we have been together. Around 2 to 3 months ago, they started to appear to change their mind, which I feel insecure and unhappy about as it is not something that I want from life, which is why I'd booked a vasectomy through NHS. I cannot afford to go private as money is very tight, again another reason I do not want children. B. She admitted to tampering with condoms and said that she'd come off the pill several weeks ago. At that point, prior to her saying that kids might be an option for her, we were still having sex and I was under the impression that we were protected as she was on the pill. I have made no secret about how I do not want kids and she is fully aware of my reasons behind that, which I do not have to share with strangers on the internet, asterisk. C. She has shown me a test and it confirms that she is pregnant. I have asked that she get an abortion, but she has refused and I feel the trust has gone completely from our relationship. We are now in the process of canceling the engagement, which she isn't happy with at all and has said that I'm ruining her life. Now, for those people telling me to go to therapy, man up or that I'm lying. It's great that you disagree with me, but I'd never tell you to attend therapy if your worldview differed from mine, that I should be at fault after my partner has lied to me, apparently for months, and that I'm a liar. Here are a few other things for you. No, I do not like kids and I don't like entitled parents. I see it the same as disliking dogs, cats, or birds. That is my opinion. Not for everyone, and not all people have to tolerate your madness. My disinterest and lack of care towards them is one of the many reasons why it would be idiotic for me to be a father. Those calling bullshit on the 21+ wedding venue thing are just wrong. It's a stipulation of the venue we chose, nothing more and nothing less. The plane thing happened several years ago. The smoking area fiasco occurred over a year ago. Colleagues bringing their newborns into work is a continued pain and just really gets my goat. Just like some people don't like Susan to eat her tuna mayo baguette. It shows a complete and utter lack of etiquette and thought by parents who are coming out in their droves to tell me how wrong I am about their decision. We'll provide updates as and when I get through all the comments. Be kind, people. Update 2. I spoke to a lawyer earlier today who has advised that as we are not married, I won't automatically be added to the birth certificate. Woohoo. My ex-partner can still claim that I'm the biological father, but without my consent to a DNA test is unlikely to be able to prove it, unless it is ordered by the court. But as I've been coerced into this, my lawyer thinks the ex-partner and family will back down as I have evidence. The lawyer advised that I don't waive my parental rights, yet as it would indicate that I still believe the fetus could be mine. So, I just have to bide my time and leave the country till this all blows over. The lawyer also suggested that I go self-employed but didn't divulge the specifics. My ex-partner has admitted to coming off birth control and piercing the condoms, which she said she'd done around 3 months ago, as she knew I was due a vasectomy early next week and thought I'd change my mind. She has refused to have an abortion, which is her right, and I've refused any involvement. Has anyone been through this before and managed not to pay out? I think I've got a pretty good case. Update 3. My ex-partner is going to keep the baby. She wants me to be involved in her life and says she doesn't want to lose me over something like this. A life-changing, unwanted event? Yeah, sure. Haha. I have said that I will be having nothing to do with this mistake and that all responsibility now lies with her and her family. She has been blocked from using any form of mobile communication with me, and I have now been sent 3 letters by her to my parents' house. The last letter included a scan of the embryo and a note requesting that I submit a DNA sample. The scan has confirmed that she is 13 to 14 weeks pregnant, which means that she kept this hidden for a good chunk of time. She has said that she will not have an abortion as this is what she always wanted, and that she will be taking me to court if I don't offer to help. The more time that goes on, the more she makes this an awful situation, the more I hate her. I refused the DNA test and sent her screenshots, on my lawyer's advice, of the conversation where she admitted to coming off the pill and piercing condoms in an attempt to get pregnant. She has now gone quiet. Until this morning, she is pursuing legal action against me and my family and is looking for a private arrangement of child support. The amount she wants for this bag of cells is triple the recommended amount via the government and is one of the reasons she is trying to get me to admit that it's my DNA in that embryo that can't keep me. I have just lost my job. I have no savings. This is going to ruin me and my life, and the only way out that I can think of is just to run off a cliff and hope for the best. I hate this. Update 4. My ex's parents have now got involved and have lumbered me with a court-ordered DNA test or the option to lay child support and have no involvement. I have dug my heels in and said that everything she has done will constitute involvement from the police and am trying to avoid legal battles as I have no money or means to support myself right now, let alone a child I never ever wanted. My parents are now asking me to reconsider my position, and I want to scream every time they bring it up as they're trying to find a positive and have said it might be the best thing to ever happen to me, and it makes me physically sick every time I think about my life being ruined over someone else's deception. I cannot sleep. I cannot focus. I'm so scared. I have now had a vasectomy.